Hello, my loves, and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah, and I am your host. And I am so excited to be with you guys today because today is my 200th episode. 200 episodes on YouTube and of the podcast in 2.5 years. I am so incredibly grateful for this opportunity to connect with you all and speak with you all. And I feel so grateful and blessed with myself that I've managed to have this level of consistency to put out 200 episodes in 2.5 years. So I am super excited to be here. I thought we will get really vulnerable and really honest. And I thought that the theme of this show could be more along the lines of 200 episodes but you've never heard of me. I don't show up on social media. I don't post clips of the show. What happened? What happened? So I thought I would fill you guys in. And I thought we could also take a look back at the last 2.5 years of some of the phenomenal guests I've had, of some of the places that I've lived, the experiences, the things I've seen, the friends I've made. So yeah, this should be a really fun episode and I'm super excited to bring it to you. So let's jump in. All right. So, as you guys know, I have been an entrepreneur for my whole life, and this show was in the making for years before I actually pulled the trigger and put it out there. So, it's something that I had been planning and thinking about and just hadn't actually pulled the trigger on for a long time, like 2 to 3 years. I'd been planning this show and it had a couple of different names and all of that sort of stuff. And then I finally settled on Create Your Life because I felt that I could never pigeonhole myself into one theme. And so originally this show was going to be called Soul Led Entrepreneurs, for the female entrepreneurs who want to follow their heart and soul and create a life they love. But given that we now called it Create a Life You Love, I think you can see where we went with that. So once I stopped pigeonholing myself into that one topic, it was really easy for me to get the show out. And I remember I started the show in February 2.5 years ago. And I remember lying in bed in January, like maybe, I don't know, a few days in, like maybe like the 7th to 10th of January. And I remember saying to the universe, I'm ready. I want to put, like, I really want my podcast to go out. I really want to do this. By this stage, I'd already been making content. I knew when the launch was going to be. I had content made. Everything was done, but I was having this conversation with the universe where I was like, I want to remove all friendships, all relationships, everything that's not a 50-50 give and take, like anything that's really heavily one-sided, like 80-20. I wanted to remove anything that was really heavily one-sided. And I was like, universe, just clear the way. I just want to go all in on my mission, which is inspiring female entrepreneurs and helping female entrepreneurs to create a life they love. Like my deepest thing, the thing that I love the most, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to be a singer. I used to sing a lot and I've started singing again, which I love. But my favorite thing about being on stage, it's not the applause. Like so many people are like, I like being on stage, because they want the attention. For me, what I like being on stage is when you go on stage, the room goes quiet. And for about 8 to 10 seconds, they don't know what's coming. And then after that 8 to 10 seconds, once you start singing, once the music starts playing, you literally see the entire vibration of the room shift. And that's what I love doing. I love shifting vibration. That's why I love singing. I love dancing. I love anything that shifts vibration. And actually, it's really interesting because my first physical business was called Made to Move, and I'm all about moving vibration and shifting vibration. I'm like, oh, that's so fitting. So, yeah, my thing is I love helping female entrepreneurs to create that life they love and shifting their vibration, shifting their attraction points, and creating something magical. So there I am in January, lying in bed, having this real honest conversation with the universe. Let's remove everything that's not, that's really out of balance in my life. Let's remove everything that takes me off course to my mission. My podcast is going live in about a month. This is what I'm saying to the universe. Podcast is going live soon. Let's just go all in on this. Well, did the universe listen? Oh my goodness, guys. Literally in the next 6 weeks, I had 3 best friends at the time. In the next 6 weeks, two of those relationships ended. My income changed drastically, and I just didn't know, like, I didn't know what was coming. One of those best friends happened to be my housemate. So it caused big shifts in my living situation. There was big shifts in my financial situation, and two of the three people that I would talk to about those shifts, those relationships ended. Now, those relationships did have a very big degree of not being equal. It was the dynamic wasn't equal. So those relationships shifted and they took so much with it. And so I launched my podcast and I didn't really know what was going on. I was literally due to fly to Europe at the end of April. This is halfway through February. And I'm like, I've got to find a new housemate. I'm trying to deal with the fact that I've lost one of my best friends. And now one of my other best friends has that relation shifted. My finances have shifted. Everything was just like everywhere. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so I was going overseas anyway. I was going over to Greece to train for 3 weeks in salsa, actually. And then I literally was like, all right, I don't have to come back. What I'll do is I'll go for 4 or 5 weeks and I'll have a holiday and then I'll figure things out. So I literally just was like, I'll rent my house out, which I did do that. And I put everything in storage. So this was like, I had like 5 or 6 weeks to do all this, put everything into storage, packed up my life to go overseas for 3 to 5 weeks. So I go to Greece and I'm just loving my life there. And I'm not really dealing with anything emotionally. I'm just kind of like going through, and living my best life, like traveling and going to dance festivals and learning salsa at one of the best studios in Europe, like literally having the best time. And I decide, why don't I just stay for 3 months? Why not? I didn't need to leave. So I ended up staying there for 3 months. And I thought to myself, all right, now I'm going to go to Montenegro. Well, actually, I thought, where am I going to go now, universe? Tell me where to go. And the universe whispered Montenegro. And I was like, where's Montenegro? Like, I've never heard of this country. And so I Googled it and it's underneath Croatia. And I was like, well, it sounds like a fairy tale. Like it literally sounds like, a romance novel, The Prince of Montenegro or something. So I thought I'll go there. So I go to Montenegro and guys, honestly, this country is phenomenal. It is literally the most beautiful country in the whole world. It is like Croatia, but quieter, not as many tourists. The locals are amazing. The culture is amazing. It's just the most fabulous country. Anyway, so I went there and I thought I'll just be there for 3 weeks, do a little tour, and then I'll fly back to Australia. And I thought when I got there, I'd been dancing for 3 months pretty heavily in Athens. So my body was tired and I was tired and I was like grumpy. I was like, if I don't actually go on a tour and see this country, I'll regret it because I'll probably never come back. And so I booked in to go on this boat tour and I thought, I really don't want to do this, but I'm going to. And I put myself on this boat tour. It was about my 6th day in Montenegro. And on that boat tour, I met someone and that completely changed the course of my life. As you guys know, I'm very self-aware. I know my values. I know what I do want. I know what I don't want. And it's not down to money or looks or anything like that. It's literally down to I want to be with someone who has my core values. My values around health, my values around family. Those particular values actually were the two that I really wanted to find someone who was on my same page with. And I met someone and it took so many synchronicities from the universe to line us up to meet, like insane amount of synchronicities, like literally sounds like a movie. And so I met him and ended up going on a date with him. And by the end of that date, I knew that all of our values were the same. And I knew in my body, like I was like, at one point during the date, we were just sitting together and I was like, wow, my whole nervous system feels calm. Like, I'm like, I just feel so safe with this human. It's like crazy. Like, I'm just like, I've never felt this safe with someone else in years. And I didn't even realize, like, I've been doing the work on myself for years, guys, healing work, psychologist, the whole lot, like, all the inner work, inner child work, the whole lot. And I hadn't realized how unsafe I felt with other humans until I met one that I felt safe with. So obviously we started seeing each other and we were seeing each other for the entire time that I was in that country. And I noticed around the 2-month mark that I could feel his feelings for me. And I had to have that moment where I was like, he's got feelings for me. I've got feelings for him. What do I do? Because like if I stay, we're going to get injured if this doesn't, like, I was like, do I stay? Do I go? What do I do? Like we really care about each other now. And I thought to myself, and I thought, this is the person that I want to be with. Like, I've never found someone that I'm so compatible with, that literally nothing has to change with this person, and I will live a happy life full of love, because I could feel his feelings for me. And I was like, we're so compatible. Like, our morning routine, the foods we eat, our core values, everything was just so in alignment for me. And I remember saying to my best friend, if I had tried to write down the sort of person that I would have wanted to be with, I wouldn't have created this human, because I didn't think it was possible to create someone so perfect for me. So that was how I felt about that. Like, I literally was like, this man is the love of my life. We are going to have such a happy future. Like, this could be amazing. Meanwhile, obviously, we'd only known each other for 3 months, but it was that thing of like, the universe lined up so many synchronicities, and I was like, when you know. So yeah, that was how I felt on that. And then I had to leave for visa reasons, and at that point everything just shifted. And I think that having a relationship with someone when you're living in a different country and they've got such different cultural beliefs and cultural things, even though we never really had a language barrier, there was a little bit of a understanding barrier. So I went from Montenegro, I went to Bosnia for a month, and then Albania for a month. And then I came back to Australia, and I packed up my life, and I sold my house. I sold all of my furniture. I sold everything I owned to move back to this human. And about 2 weeks before I was due to get on the plane, he sent me a text message. And I'm not going to go into that, but obviously this literally like broke my heart, like so much. And there was, like, yeah, I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to dwell in the past, but I want to explain why I haven't been showing up. So I went anyway. And basically, yeah, it was the biggest time of just the last 12 months have been the biggest time of inner work and crying and letting myself go, in terms of, for my whole life, I'd held in so much emotion. I'd never felt like I could be in a safe place and just let go. And in Montenegro, I had that opportunity where I was not worried if I didn't work or see clients, because at this point I kind of felt like I didn't have the capacity to see clients. You guys know I've been doing energy healing and business consulting for the last 10 years. And I didn't feel like it was in integrity for me while I was going through such a breakdown / breakthrough to be seeing clients. So yeah, that is kind of what happened there. I literally spent 6 months in Montenegro just crying and healing and journaling and letting out everything, like from my whole life. So much stuff came up to be cleared, guys, like deep stuff that I've never looked at, never thought about, but stuff that had happened that I just hadn't actually dealt with and was still in my body. So I went through and started dealing with all of that. And then it got to about November, and I was like, I need to go back to Australia where I can actually go to a dance class and get out of my own head, because I was going through so much in Montenegro and I wasn't able to switch off from it. So I couldn't really get myself out of the hole because I was constantly just in the hole. So I brought myself back to Australia. That was an adjustment all on its own, coming back. And yeah, like the difference in lifestyle here, the difference in the people, all of that sort of stuff. And that was interesting as well. Like, I literally came back to Australia and was like, all right, I'm going to buy another house, and bought a house within, an investment, not one to live in, within 3 months of moving back. So it kind of feels like I got back to Australia and I hit the ground running again. And I went from being in crying and processing to going really hard on like, let's get this other house, let's get a house locked in, another investment property locked in. And so again, I wasn't really processing. And then a beautiful soul came along who asked me to manage her business while she had a baby. So I ended up taking that opportunity. And that's kind of what I've been doing since, like March this year, is managing her business. So throughout all of this, it has been a lot. So obviously, like that first time when I was in Montenegro and I realized I would have to leave after 90 days, the thought that ran through my head when I realized I would have to leave was, I can't lose another human. So that, even in that first year, showed me that I hadn't dealt with the loss of the relationships of my two best friends yet. And that cued a lot of stuff coming up for me, even while I was still in Montenegro. Essentially, for the last 2.5 years, even though I've loved putting the podcast out there, I have just been so deep in the hole of inner work and dealing with all of my own stuff that I haven't really wanted to be seen, and I haven't felt like it was in integrity for me to really take clients. So while I didn't want to take clients, I also didn't want to be showing up, because I know that I am quite magnetic and I'm a feel good energy. People enjoy being around me. People like being around me. And the thought of putting myself out there and having more people come into my world was overwhelming. I didn't have it in me to give to anybody else. So putting myself out there and growing my social media, it felt like a lot of pressure to be able to show up for the rest of the world. And I didn't have that pressure. Like, I didn't have it. I didn't have that energy, you know? And then obviously going through my healing and doing all my things. And guys, I regularly have an energy healer that I see. I have a psychologist that I see, once a month as well. He's kind of like a sounding board. So this whole time I've been doing the work. It's not like I haven't been doing the work. I journaled 80,000 words last year on my computer alone and 2 notebooks. So, I do the inner work. I do the energy healing on myself. I do the inner child work on myself. I do light language on myself. I meditate regularly, so I've been doing the work. And I got sick about, I don't know, maybe 7 weeks ago. I was talking to someone and they're like, you've never really let any anger out. And she's like, let the anger out. And so I put on Christina Aguilera's Fighter and literally just airboxed in the mirror, letting out everything I needed to say, all of the anger, for 30 minutes. Like, it was about 28 minutes of repeating the song until I was like, okay, I'm done now. And after that, I got quite sick. Like, I literally lost my voice. And I think since I did that, it shook away the last things that were holding me back from truly expressing myself and showing up. Because since then, it's just like the weight has lifted, the fog has lifted. And now it's like, yes, we're moving forward again. Like, my life is moving forward again. And yes, okay, there's hard days like everybody. I'm still human, but I'm moving forward again. And that was the thing that I wasn't able to do. I wasn't able to move forward. I was just kind of stuck in the hole of healing, I guess. I don't know, despair. I just was so deep in. So now that we're moving forward again, I'm super excited to start showing up on social media. So I hope for everybody who has kind of been like, what has she been doing for 2.5 years? Why don't we know about her? Why does she not have social media? I hope this explains it, that I've continued with the show because I love the show and I love what I do and I love what I'm bringing to the world. But when it came to social media, I just wasn't ready to, I just didn't have anything to give. And now I'm back, I'm totally back. And so it's really, really nice to feel like myself again, to feel like I can move forward, to feel like I'm excited about creating this next chapter. I've done the hard yards. I've been through the biggest dark night of the soul. Obviously, guys, there has been more to my dark night of the soul than all of that of just processing 1 relationship and 2 friends. There's also been some family stuff that's happened. There's been some health stuff for me that's come up as well. So there's been obviously all of these themes, like also coming back to Australia, I sold my house. So coming back to Australia, I don't have that safety of a home environment to go to. So there's been so many things that have come up, and now I'm like, all right, cool, we're ready to move forward. And I want to be seeing clients again. And I'm excited to get my message out there, and I'm excited to be seen, and I'm excited to again, help shift the vibration. I have so many cool things in the pipelines now, guys, and I'm so excited to share it all with you and bring it all to you and just really step into my mission of helping to shift the vibration of the planet and helping female entrepreneurs to create that life they love. It's been interesting managing a business for someone. Actually, she's a very, very successful entrepreneur, and it's really shown me how much I actually know and how much I can actually do and how overqualified I am just about. Like I should have just been stepping up 5 years ago, guys. I shouldn't have spent all this time like not showing up. I have so much to give and so much knowledge and so much wisdom and so much heart, so much soul. So I'm super excited to bring it all to you. And I can't wait to show you guys what's in the pipelines. But let's have a quick look back over the years, which I'm super pumped about because one very cool thing about me having traveled for the last 2.5 years means so many of my episodes are filmed in different countries. Like I have so much content from different countries, it's not funny. So let's take a little bit of a look at some of the different backgrounds and places that I've been. So to start with, we've got my original episodes that were filmed at my house, which is super cool. That was back in the day. That was where I filmed my first online event, my first summit, which was the Soul Led Entrepreneur Summit. So that was awesome. Interviewed some super cool people, really high level entrepreneurs. I literally loved that. Then from there, you can see that I'm in Greece. So, yeah, I always know the Greece background because it was where I was filming with a beautiful piano. So, I loved that. That was such a beautiful time living in Greece and just dancing and exploring and traveling and getting to know this other side of myself. And yeah, I just really lived that digital nomad life in Greece. Every third weekend, I was flying off to dance events. I made so many friends around the world. It was just a really, 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 really fun time being in Greece. And then came Montenegro, my home, the place where my heart lives, the place where I breathe easily, the place where I will continually go back to for the rest of my life because to me, Montenegro does feel like home. So Montenegro, oh my gosh, I am sure I filmed in a couple of venues, a couple of different places in Montenegro as well. But there is one main place that I live in Montenegro, and it's where I have friends, everywhere, like, at the local grocery store, I'm friends with them, the local supermarket, at the bakery. It's very much like that song from Beauty and the Beast, where she's like, there goes the baker, and all of that. That's my life in Montenegro, and I love it. And it was, yeah, it's literally, yeah, where my heart is. So yeah, I loved Montenegro. I loved my adventures there, loved filming there. So yeah, Montenegro was a cool place to be. Bosnia, I don't know. Bosnia is probably not for me. I liked it. I didn't love it. I loved where I was living. Had some beautiful backdrops on my content from there. I had the most beautiful lounge room. My apartment was just stunning. I did like Bosnia, but also when I was in Bosnia, it timed with a birthday for me, like my birthday. And that was really hard being in Bosnia and being by myself. And it was also going into winter. I'd only planned for summer. So, I had only summer clothes. So it was cold and yeah, Bosnia was hard, but I did enjoy it. Then from there, I went to Albania. I don't actually think I filmed any episodes in Albania, but that was beautiful. I loved that. And during this time, guys, I was flying out to different dance events in like Switzerland, Germany. I'd been to the UK, so many different countries, Austria. So yeah, while all of these main places that I'm talking about, there were so many little adventures in there as well. So yeah, it was a super cool time. Then I came back to Australia, which was awesome. And so there's some content from when I was in Australia. And then I went back to Montenegro, and I was in Montenegro last year. So heaps of content from there again, which was cool. And then, yeah, back to Australia this year. I've lived in a couple of different houses, so a couple of different backgrounds. So it has been interesting and fun, and I've danced a lot, I've grown a lot, I've cried a lot. Gosh, I've seen a lot. and I've felt a lot, and I've gotten so much deeper within myself and so much more self-aware and so much stronger as well. I've really noticed since I got sick, as mentioned about 6 to 8 weeks ago, how much stronger I'm getting every day within myself. And I was already a strong human. So yeah, it's been such a journey. I'd also love to look back at some of the cool guests I've had. I'm not going to mention everyone. Obviously, I've had over 40 or 50 guests now, probably even over 60. A lot of guests. So yeah, I'm not going to mention everyone, but I will mention some highlights. So I did an amazing interview with Dale Beaumont, who actually is one of my very first mentors. He actually, I went to one of his events about book publishing. And yeah, he was where I actually started really getting into like, how can I be an entrepreneur and how can I, like, real people are doing this? What can I do? And I always thought what he did was really cool. And he had his partner, his wife, Catherine, and they've been together since they were in school. So I always really loved his life because I was like, he's balancing having a relationship and a business, and they take 4 months off for every year and they go traveling with their two sons. And I was like, this guy's got the life. He's got it sorted. He's like doing the thing. He's got a family, he's got everything. So that was a real moment for me when he said yes to letting me interview him, because I was like, wow, this is like literally like such a big deal. Like, I'm so excited about this. So that was awesome. Another person that I've interviewed is the phenomenal Brad Yates, who I have done EFT tapping for, I don't know, at least 10 to 15 years. And Brad Yates is like the person for me for EFT tapping. He is just, there's just something so warm and caring about him. And watching his videos is like doing something with a loving parent. Like, he just is such a phenomenal human. So also when he said yes to the interview, I was also just blown away and just so much gratitude and feeling so blessed for the life that I've created to be able to interview him. So that was amazing. Also, another human that I loved interviewing was Mitch, who is my first kind of real life mentor. So Mitch, he had a business in an area that I was interested in, and he was doing the sort of stuff that I would do, but in an area that I wouldn't do it. And so I started supporting Mitch because I was like, look at this dude, he's doing cool stuff. Him and his sister have this really cool brand and they're doing all these cool things that I want to do, but not in an area I want to do it. I'm just going to support them as entrepreneurs. And I ended up working with Mitch. He actually taught me how to do video editing and all of that sort of stuff, how to do online summits, that sort of thing. And so he was my first real life, like actual, wow, this is really a person who's making money and living their life as an entrepreneur. So it was phenomenal for me to interview him as well, because again, it was like, wow, I'm like literally interviewing the people who have had such an impact on my life, which was amazing to interview those three men who actually have had such a big impact on my life. So just so much deep gratitude for those men, and I'm just so grateful and have so much love for all of them. So yeah, so much gratitude for that. And I've also had some other phenomenal and amazing guests, and so I'll put a little clip together so you can see some of them. Again, maybe not all of them, but every single interview has been so aligned and so joyful. And there's been some people that I've interviewed, and since I've interviewed them, it's been so fun to watch their journey and see where they've been going and what they've been doing and how they're growing and changing and evolving. And so it's been such a beautiful gift to myself to have this YouTube channel and consistently put out these interviews and these episodes like I am now, where I talk to you guys, and then also the episodes where I'm doing meditations or affirmations or EFT. Like, the whole channel has been such a big gift and blessing to myself. It's literally been the one consistent thing in my life for the last 2 years. And I just am honestly just so incredibly grateful that I get to do this and that I get to bring this to the world. So I think that's about it for today. It has been such a blessing to be here with you guys for 200 episodes. I've absolutely loved it. I'm so grateful for everything that I've experienced and everything that I've done, even things that I haven't mentioned on this episode. I went to a retreat in Bali last year. The year before, I was in Thailand. I've done more trainings. I'm always doing trainings, on different modalities and different things. Like I'm always learning and growing and doing personal development. And so even on that side of things, the last 2.5 years has been so busy. As mentioned, I've done multiple courses. I've lived in multiple countries. I've talked to multiple people, but yeah, on the inside, I've just been going through it a bit. So yeah, I'm really happy to have been able to bring this to you guys. I feel really blessed to be in the position that I'm in. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with you guys for the 201st episode, which is phenomenal. Can't wait to share it with you. And yeah, if you guys have any comments, if you want to connect with me, please just drop a message, send me something in the DMs, put a comment below, subscribe to the channel, because I really do look forward to connecting with you guys again soon.